Hey, shout out, folks. We have an awesome show for you today. It's Bob the Old Rucker, and Redbeard and I thank you for listening to the show and your great feedback. Please keep sending suggestions on how we can improve your show. Just a few admin notes before we launch into this episode. You know, we want to share your story, how you overcame your hurt, habit, or hang-up, and what you do to maintain a healthy, happy life today. Contact us at shoutoutfromthepit.com. Looking forward to meeting you. You know, we're still on the search for merch opportunities, so if you can help, hit us up at shoutoutfromthepit.com, and the Buck Bucket is up on the site as well. Thanks for whatever you can do to help get the word out. And be sure to subscribe to the show and share it with a friend. You'll get Diane's missives full of awesome tools and encouragement and episodes designed to edutain as you trudge the road to happy destiny. Okay, so here's what to expect from this show. Edye and Paul share their individual challenges and solutions to alcoholism and how they support one another in their individual recovery journeys. I'll tell you now, I've known these folks for more than just a few years, and I'm one of the lucky ones that gets to say we're friends. Edye and Paul are awesome examples for couples in recovery. Take notes, and I hope you enjoy this show as much as we did recording it. With these two, there's never a dull moment. And now, on with the show. Hey, shout out, folks. It's Bob the Old Rucker coming at you raw and uncensored. And as always, only God knows what's going to happen on this show. Welcome to Shout Out from the Pit, where the host sucks, but the guests are awesome. I'm the host, and Redbeard, the brains behind the scenes, is my friend, partner, and producer. Our topic today is couples in recovery with our guest, Edye and Paul. Hey, folks, give us a shout out.
What's up?
Okay. I've known you beautiful creatures made by God to serve a higher purpose for a lot of years now. Edye, you're obviously one of the very first persons I met in my recovery journey here. So it's been a challenge, you know, trying to get you guys on the show together at the same time. Paul, you actually did back when we were trying to figure this thing out, when you're in the Lost Tape series where we were doing shows at Sloan's house.
Yeah.
So if we ever find those, we'll post them. But so you've been with us on this podcast journey for a minute, but this is the first time we've actually been able to finally get you as a guest. So thank you. I'm glad you're here. All right. And in our studio audience today, really excited about it. My co-hosts, I actually have a couple of them now. I'm really grateful for that. I've got Mandy. You guys, she came all the way from England. So give us a shout out.
Hi, everybody. It's so wonderful to be back. Hey, Bob.
I love that.
Do they speak French over there?
I have been asked that question.
Out of the mouths of babes, right? And then we got Team Jeremy back, episode 30, 39, and 40. And, of course, Sherry did her debut last week with the Ladies Show that will be coming out in a few weeks. Jeremy is hosting a show here in a few weeks. The Family in Recovery, is that what we got?
Family Disease.
Family Disease, roger that. Okay, so y'all give a shout out.
Hello.
Shout out, everybody.
Right on. And then one of our returning tribe members here is Brother Dwight. Brother Dwight, give a shout out.
Hello, everybody.
And finally, we've got a new brother here visiting with us. First time on the podcast show. Joel, give a shout out.
Hello, everyone.
All right. And we have some other people that will be joining us later, getting off work, making their way over here and what have you. So when they come, they come. All right. So as always, you having a hard time over there, Dwight? You're fun to watch. I just wanted you to know. So. Poor guy. All right. So we have an icebreaker here we got to do. So before we get started, did you know that today is Mandy's sobriety birthday? And wait, what do we have here?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh!
Hey.
Yes, we do.
Diamond, thank you so much.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Mandy.
Everybody give a shout out to Mandy. Happy sobriety birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have a song for that? No. Mandy, no.
Sobriety to you.
There we go.
Happy birthday.
I love
Keep it going.
All right, folks, we're going to take our first break right now so we can indulge in chocolate cake, and we shall return. All right, welcome back. Thanks for your patience. Of course, they don't know the difference, right? Because we took a break and we come right back. So we are celebrating not only now, I just discovered Mandy's sobriety, but our guest tonight, Paul and Edye, this is your 3rd-year anniversary.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Woohoo!
All right. Well, now that we're all jacked up on sugar,
Woo!
wow, that was a great cake. Mandy, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you so much, guys. I'm just so grateful everybody was here to share it with me. Absolutely awesome.
Wow, yeah, look, Danny's looking for scraps. Not going to happen, pal. All right, so let's just jump into this thing here. All right, so little backstory. I met Paul, I think it's got to be about 4 or 5 years now. Paul, I'm not even sure, right? We just kind of get lost in time. So I met you through some of the other tribe guys, and then we just, have grown together through that. Edye, obviously, you and Mandy here, and Dwight, you're among the first 3 I met in my own recovery journey, and we've just grown close over the years. So again, as I said in the opening, very grateful that you guys are here. This is cool, and I do want to say, you guys are, as we all here know, you're not just a couple in recovery, but you guys have an immersion in recovery. You guys are greatly and deeply engaged. Winter holiday. Paul always wears a suit.
What is winter holiday, Bob?
Oh gosh. Well, why don't you give a shameless plug, Edye, for the winter holiday?
Sure, will do. Winter holiday is the District 9 of Area 4, Alcoholics Anonymous, which is the entire state of Arkansas. It is our winter convention. It's held the first weekend in February every year. This one coming up will be February 6th through the 8th at Embassy Suites Hotel in Little Rock. It's a great time. We have 4 AA speakers, 1 Al-Anon speaker, a panel discussion, a workshop, a kick-ass hospitality room, and lots of fun. So come on down. It's $30 early registration. If you get in early, go online to winterholidayconvention.com. Hope to see you there.
I'm gonna put that in the show notes too. I'm glad you said that.
Some idiot's always wearing a costume up there. I mean, and sometimes 2 or 3.
Has there ever been a Care Bear there?
There has a lucky Care Bear. He's got the little 4-leaf clover on him because he's a lucky son of a gun.
Side note, do not rub the lucky Care Bear.
Where is this clover?
Yeah.
Anniversary?
I'm the only one that gets to rub the Care Bear.
Well, trust me, I won't be in line. All right, jumping into this thing. Let's talk present before we go past. So, Paul, Edye, you guys just jump in, take charge. Tell us about who you guys are today and what's going on in your lives, and then we'll talk about your individual snapshot travels and how you got to where you're at. In a little bit, but let's who are you guys for the audience? The audience, like, okay, Paul and Edye, I know you guys are jacked up on sugar and what have you, so just get to the point. Tell us who you are. Go.
Well, I got thrown under the bus for this first go around, I guess. She's pointing to me. Who am I today? I struggle to say this, but I'm a pretty good guy today. I'm a sponsor, a grand sponsor. I'm a trusted servant that can be trusted. I have people's house keys today that I come over and do stuff for them while they're not home. Codes to people's alarm systems. It's just amazing. The guy I am today has, every once in a while, I have lunch with this deacon from a church, and when he talks church, I talk program. And that's something I could never do in the past because I could not agree to disagree, or I could not view anything from anybody else's standpoint except for mine. And today I can. I'm a decent father. I hope I'm a decent partner. I have a lot of a large circle of friends that touch base with me every day. You know, it's these little things are why I have to, you know, it'd be a lie to say that I'm not a good guy today. So what else you want to know, Bob? Help me out. Help me out.
Well, okay, so if we're going to lead the witness, and by the way, Joel, Dwight, Team Jeremy, Mandy, obviously, you can jump in any time because you know how we roll over here. So specifically, what does your program look like, your recovery program?
Solid most days. I'd be lying to you if I don't say I squirrel cage. I was very fortunate today. You know, I never once thought about coming on this show because if I had, I'd have had all these questions answered. In the answers to those questions, I'd have had questions and more answers. And I'd spent 3 hours and we'd already had the show before I ever got here. And that's not this way today.
Mandy.
Taking your job, Bob.
Yeah. No, I'm of service. You know, I don't hit my knees. I pray as soon as I gain consciousness in the morning because I forget as soon as my feet hit the ground, we're going. Whether it be the text messages, all the readings, answering the phone, you know, it's, if possible, I'm willing and able, and I say yes, unless it conflicts with something. And sometimes it's a little too much, honestly. And I just have to I need a downtime. But to have a downtime regularly scheduled, no, we don't. We go.
Do you find balance kind of difficult
At
when
times.
being so involved with service work?
Yes. It's just one of those things when I'm to that point, I just have to make it. Because I do, if somebody's reaching out, you know, I want a hand there to help them. And sometimes that I struggle with letting somebody else's hand be that because that other hand may not be reaching out. So if I'm asked and I'm able, yeah, let's do it. Y'all going to have to lead this witness now.
Oh, yeah, no worries. It's just top of the dome, man. You can pass the mic to your better half, and we'll go from there.
Better half like that. So what am I like today? Well, a complete 180 from what I ever was before. I'm a mother today that my kids can count on. A sister that my siblings can count on. Like Paul said, I hope I'm a good partner. I'm a good worker. I stay at work all day now. I actually work when I'm there. I take my program very, very seriously. And I, too, am involved in a lot of service work. Like Paul said, to my detriment sometimes. My sponsor will tell you that I need to slow down, take a break. But I love it. I love being involved in service. AA is my family. And I can't really think of any friends that I hang out with or have that aren't part of the program. That's just become my life, and I like it that way. So we do a lot. It's not all for the program, but we're constantly on the go. You know, we hang out with the tribe. We watch football. We go to plays with friends. You know, we do all kinds of things. We live life today. You know, back in the day, I was huddled somewhere crying, wondering what the hell was coming down the pike next. You know, today I'm free. You know, I can live life and enjoy it. And yeah, I get, because I'm a doer and I love to do things. So yeah, I get worn out and I get tired, but I really wouldn't have it any other way. That's just the way I am and what I do. So yeah.
All right. So since you've got the mic, before I say anything, okay, anybody? Oh, by the way, joining us is Amanda.
Linda.
Oh, you changed your name.
That's
okay.
Close. Good job.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so before she got here, it was Amanda. Now it's Linda. That's fine. Yeah. If anybody's going to jack up a name, it's going to be me. Hi.
Hey.
All right. So welcome to the podcast. Shout out from the pit. All right. So since you've got the mic already, Edye, maybe a Reader's Digest, whatever you want to call it, nickel tour. how you ended up. I mean, I've heard your story. It's crazy. I mean, everybody's story is crazy, but wow, you are a whirlwind tour. So give us a a few minute snapshot of what your life was like before you came into the program, and then when you get tired of talking, pass the mic to that guy sitting next to you, and then we'll go from there. And then I actually have some questions about the topic, couples in recovery.
So what my life was like before the program, to put it real simply, total chaos. It was just, I was always searching for something. I didn't know what, but I wasn't ever happy where I was. I wasn't ever, I ended up getting myself in a lot of bad situations, hanging out with wrong people, doing wrong things, and I got in that very young. I had my first drink at 10 years old, and my first drunk at 10 years old. And, it just went downhill from there. And I lived my life as the victim. It was what you were doing to me. I was always the victim. I had no part in it. So it was very, like I said, I found myself in a lot of bad situations. And to be honest with you, I thought that I was having fun. I mean, I really thought that I was having fun. My family was totally worried about me. My kids at one point didn't even want anything to do with me. I ran with 1%er motorcycle clubs. I went, you name it. It was out there, really, really out there. And quite honestly, if my late husband had not passed away from this disease, I don't know if I would be where I'm at today. Because at the time, he was my higher power, and I chose to live the life he was living. Fortunately, God had different plans for me, and I truly believe that God took him so I could get sober. And that's in fact what happened. I came into the program 2 months after he passed and haven't looked back. I mean, I hit the floor running, and because I was in so much pain at that point, and just so, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, there was nothing left there. It was just broken, totally broken, and couldn't go anywhere but up. I mean, when you're at rock bottom, there's no place to go.
Yeah, that's true.
But up.
Right.
So, so that's kind of how it was. I mean, hell, I could go forever telling you how it was, but you don't want to hear all that.
Before you made it into the rooms, had you had any prior experience with AA, heard of AA? How did you know where to go?
I did. What had happened was, about 5 years before I came in, that same husband I was telling you about and I were like off the charts doing some wild lifestyle and crazy stuff. And I decided I couldn't do it anymore, and we were fighting, and we were both cheating on each other. All this stuff was going on. And I sat one night with a loaded gun to my head and asked him to take me to a hospital or somewhere and drop me off because I couldn't do this anymore. And he said no, he couldn't do that. So I called a friend and told her what was going on, and she had been in NA before. And she said she would go to an NA meeting with me because I thought my problem was drugs. And so I started in NA in 2003. And I managed to stay sober for almost a year, about 3 days shy of a year. Well, that's a lie because I did take a shot during that time. And so I went to AA meetings then too, and I was kind of doing both programs. So that's when I first heard of it. And after that year, I made the conscious decision because he was still using and doing everything and nothing changed. We were still in bars. We were still doing the same thing. I just was sober. I mean, I just wasn't drinking or drugging. And so it was miserable. And I made the choice consciously to go back into his world. I mean, like the song says, I'd rather live in your world than live without you in mine. So that's what I did. That took us on a 5-year run that ended up killing him, and I would have been next had I not. Yeah.
I'm very glad that you're here. So
Me too. Thanks.
yeah. When I met you, I think the immediate attraction that we had, we were both Harley people.
Yes.
And I remember telling my wife, because I was trying to get Shannon over here to get into bikes, and I was like, Edye wants to sell her Harley, and Shannon was like, well, good for her. So obviously that we didn't get Shannon a bike, but she absolutely loves riding on mine with me, right? No. She's not a bike girl. Okay, but she looks good in leather.
Okay, I was born into addiction, and that was my early childhood. They used to get me messed up because they thought it was funny to watch the little white boy fall over, and it quickly turned into, well, if I just walk over and grab it, they're laughing with me and not at me. Never felt comfortable in my own skin. Always wanted to be somewhere else, with somebody else, doing something else, looking different. My feet weren't big enough. My hair wasn't long enough. Didn't have enough hair. You name it. There's always this hole inside of me that was never filled. And then I guess I was about 12 when I really started drinking. I was involved with gangs. And, they say, hey, that's a depressant. Bullshit. This livens me up. I have arrived, did a geographical cure to Arkansas, same thing, just different people. So I gravitated to the other people. Well, the reason I left was because people were starting to die around me. Fear. Get here. And fear is what drove me into the program. I've played Russian roulette twice. First time I pulled the trigger twice, blew a hole in the floor next to my foot, cussing and screaming, God, crying, why won't you let me die? It's stupid stuff, and then the kids were next door on that one. And the second time, the kids were in the next room. I pulled the trigger once, and I can't. I was at a place where I couldn't hear that click again and it not go off. Just crazy, and I finally made the conscious decision, going through my second divorce. I was going to go strip butt naked, get drunk, and go die out in the ditch on top of that mountain on the next freeze, because I heard hypothermia was a good way to go. I couldn't believe that I just couldn't go on living. AA, if somebody had mentioned it, I'm sure they had. That's not something that I listened to or heard. I was delusional. Didn't think I was crazy, but I was nuts. And, God said this sucker is an idiot. So this one night stand that I had on the side of a road reaches out to me. I done had my plan. I had this was going down. And this one night stand reaches out to me and says, we start talking, and she says, you need to get sober. She says, I'm in NA and I can't date you unless you're sober. I said, boom, grass is greener over here. Cause at the time I thought just, as everybody else, I was a victim. And, so I went to treatment chasing this girl. Never seen her, never heard from her again.
Angel.
I know it. God has a way of doing things, and I get out of this treatment center, and no aftercare plan. I don't need that stuff. And God, when I landed in Little Rock, the fear of feeling that way drove me into the Jacksonville AA, because they had so many meetings. It was just the fear of going back to feeling that way. And I went in there. I didn't believe none of them guys. They were all full of shit. In my mind, I could not wrap my head around someone not drinking or doing something to change the way they feel. Holidays, they're doing it. And they just consider it sober. Delusional, I'm telling you. Because that's what I believed. So I'm in there, and 1, 2, 3, I lie. If I got faith, I'm burning in hell. Shit, my life was already hell. 4, brother, I'll do whatever you tell me to do if you will give me the secret. Teach me how to Well, in my mind, it's teach me how to drink or drug and be happy like you're happy. Because I just knew they weren't sober. And, a guy was willing to put up with my shit, and he sat me down, and, he taught me that I am a victim. No, that's a lie. He showed me my part in everything. And he's like, God, you have to have a higher power because you would not be here. Drive-by shootings, I'd take a whole damn bottle of Xanax or anything just to not wake up. And I'd sleep for 3 days and wake up. But he pointed all this stuff out to me. I'd been through church trying that, but it was a masquerade. I wasn't there for anything other than to look like a good guy that I didn't feel like. He taught me the beginnings of being a good guy. And that's where service work originally got implanted, was him. I used to say he was a manipulative bastard. Paul, have you ever mowed the grass sober? I started very young. No, Raymond, I don't think so. Be up here 8 a.m. Paul, you ever weed eat sober? No, be up here at 9 a.m. You ever worked on, cut wood and do this, do that, clean the gutters, all these things sober? And I was like, it took me a while to wisen up, man. I was like, no. I told you I wasn't the brightest one when I got in here. He cleaning the building, wiping the tables down, just all this stuff. It got me out of me. Now I was not unique by any means, but I was one of the wonderful things about that place was all the meetings, and I got to stay up there in between meetings, and I basically just went home at night, came right back the next morning because I was afraid of the passing those liquor stores, and doing all that stuff kept me out of me, kept me from thinking about that, kept me writing. And he was a firm believer. He's like, Paul, you're up here during meetings, write it out. Let's get this stuff over. And he got me through the steps in 30 days. But that's all I was doing. I was fortunate. I was such a winner when I got here. Didn't have a job, so I did have a little bit of money that I got from the divorce, but not much. I was wrecked all that, But yeah, and he's the one that first started pointing out that the grass was greener somewhere else, Paul, because you're not there killing it.
It's funny you should mention those Jacksonville meetings because that's where I used to go a lot. And it's true, whenever I went, he was there doing something, chairing, making coffee, doing exactly what he just said. I'm here to testify he is telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He'd also have me out there shaking hands. We used to get a lot of treatment centers coming in there. Well, Serenity and not Serenity, RCA and the ladies, Sibley. Yeah. And they'd come in there and he said, Paul, you out there at that door saying, hello, hi, I'm Paul. I'm an alcoholic. I think he was still working on convincing me that I was, because at that time I was not grateful about being an alcoholic by any means. I thought it was a curse from hell, And yeah, he'd have me out there shaking hands. And I still get people come up to me and say, yeah, you shook my hand at that meeting. And you remember me? No, but I'm glad I was there to shake your hand.
I remember we met, and I think it was, some of the guys, we do this tribe dinners, right? It's like once or twice a week, the guys will get together and they'll go to dinner. And so you showed up.
And you had a 13 size shoe that night. Might have been a 14.
Oh, God. Do you remember that?
I think so.
I do now. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't remember that that's the first thing you said to me. But
I know.
I was like, wow. Okay, I'm sober almost 5 years and my wife died. And I'm tail spinning.
This isn't the divorce. We have another wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to confuse the audience.
Yes,
So you went to divorce, you got remarried.
Well, a couple divorces, got remarried. Just how it is. And she passed, and I'm tail spinning. I'm like, so don't want to be at home. I'm out running around, going just like early sobriety. I'm in a lot of meetings to stay away from me, to keep me from thinking. And I guess I ran into Pat somewhere, and we're running around, and then run into Bob and Sloan and all these guys up there. And we're eating, and Bob asked me, well, what do you think? I said, well, it's not as good as my wife's, but he says, oh, what, she kicked your ass out? I said, no, she died. And I didn't think anything else of it until he mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. It's just like,
yeah, the first thing, and I did, that's exactly what I said. Did she throw you out? And you said, no, she just passed. And everybody at the table just looked at each other like, wow, Bob, good job, man. And I looked at you and I said, how do you get a size 13 shoe
Out of your mouth.
in my mouth, and you just, you showed great grace. But I remember after that, I just kept seeing you all the time and you were doing the deal. And it wasn't long after that, I kept running into guys. And it's just a thing we do, right? Okay, so you're new in the program. Awesome. You got a sponsor? Yeah, Paul. Oh, okay, good. Meet another guy, Paul. And I was like, dude, you got more children than all in the family here. That 8 is enough thing. And then just recently, in fact, one of your guys that you're sponsoring called me and he said, hey, Paul told me to call you. I need to do a worksheet. And I was like, who don't you sponsor? Well, I know you're not sponsoring Jeremy and Dwight, but
Jeremy's actually my service sponsor.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have a sponsor that is very, I ran into Dean about a month after she passed. And man, I was just hope. I was looking for some hope, like what originally drove. I believed that guy was sober. Well, I didn't believe he was sober. I believed he was happy. He was lying about being sober, but I believed he was happy. And that's what drove me into AA and fear going back to the way I felt. That gave me hope. And I ran into Dean, and I picked him up. And that was another God thing. Raised my hand in the men's meeting, said what's going on. Stan King, great member, passed away about a year ago, was his grand sponsor, and just directed me to Dean. Dean's wife died 30 days. He was sober 30 days.
Oh, maybe you tell us.
And it's like, God, put this man in my life in instantaneous hope. He'd already been through all this in sobriety.
So let the audience know, what is it actually that a service sponsor, how does that help you in the program?
See, on the service aspect, we get into the traditions and not just not being a dick. We can run around. The 12 steps teaches us not to be a dick. And
your face is looking just like mine right now, audience.
So I'm learning not to be a dick, and when I'm a dick, I make it right. And that's what the 12 steps has taught me. But then on a service level, it's like I'm not allowed to be a dick on national TV. There's a bigger audience. So it teaches me not to be a dick up there.
So the sponsor keeps you right-sized?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Because I'm large and in charge, and he's like, all right, let's get back down to fun size, Paul. And some of it is, my sponsor is really good about working the steps, very in touch with a lot of guys, helps a lot of men out, knows what's going on in their lives, putting people, places, and all these things together. Service-wise, he's not there. He's never looked at the traditions, really. He knows he's learned more about the traditions since he's had me as a sponsee. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's where all that focus was with the men's meetings, I'm just trying not to blow up the world as my ego grows, and that's where a service sponsor comes in.
So I've got a question. You two talked about, Edye, you lost your husband, and Paul, you lost your wife in sobriety. That's got to bring a lot of fear into the relationship. And then how does that fear interact with you two between each other?
Good question.
It is a very good question. There was a lot of fear for me anyway, because what I learned in the program after he died, because when I got in the program, not long after he died, I got another boyfriend. And then, I learned in the program that my idea of love was totally screwed up. And I saw love or what I mistook for love was lust, security, companionship, just all these things that really weren't love. So just like when I was out there drinking and using, I would find a guy and, then I'd get old and, it was the same old thing. So I decided to take a year off because I never took that year that they, that they suggest that you don't do anything. Well, that year turned into 9 years.
Wow.
And so,
To be sure.
So I was alone for 9 years. So when you talk about fear of getting into a relationship, that was a real thing, Plus my relationship, I've learned over working steps and working on myself and doing inventories that my relationship with my husband that passed away was very toxic. And we loved each other, but it was a very sick relationship. And so that instilled a lot of fears in me about another relationship and, what's that going to be like, and setting boundaries and all that kind of stuff. So it took me a long time I had to be okay with myself first. I had never been, when I moved to Arkansas, which was about 10 years ago, I moved to Arkansas and I lived with my daughter for just under a year. And then I got my own apartment. And that was the first time in my life that I had ever lived alone, ever. I never had my own apartment, just growing up and getting out of school and all that stuff. That was the first time. And I had to learn how to be alone because that was part of my problem with finding a companion was the loneliness and, the companionship. So anyway, so that turned into 9 years. And when he and I met, it was a God thing as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it truly was a God thing. He just started coming to my home group, every once in a while. And I'm not even going to, no, I won't even say that.
Oh, great. Great. Now we're hanging out here.
Okay. So
right.
The group he came with, or the companions that he came with, were gay. So I thought he was gay. So I didn't even, if he's is Dwight, then he fakes it really, really well. But so anyway, so I didn't even look at him like that, it was just, and then one night, me and another gay friend of mine were talking, and his name came up and I said, "Oh no, I think he's gay." And he started laughing and he said, "I don't think so." So anyway, and it just kind of, after that, we kind of just, we went out to dinner after a meeting one night with a bunch of people. And I was sitting next to him and he was talking about his wife had just died. And I said, "Oh, really?" Because I can relate to that. My husband died. So it really started out as friends. I mean, we were talking about, how we felt about that and what was going on, what we were kind of looking for, We didn't, we're in sobriety now. We didn't want to just hook up with somebody, like we always had done and whatever, and had to have meaning and all this stuff. And just kind of one thing led to another. And, it just kind of happened. And he arrested me at Soberfest.
Oh, yeah.
Like chili cook-off. Oh, chili cook-off. I heard
about that.
He arrested me 3 times. 3 times at chili cook-off. And then I was dressed up as a bumblebee, okay? And then when they had stopped doing the arresting, he was the sheriff. So when they stopped doing the arresting, he came up and he handed me an arrest warrant paper and said, "This was going to be your next arrest." And he walked away. I was with my daughter and she says, "Mom, he's flirting with you." "No, he's not. No, he's not." She said, "Mom, come on." And so I looked at it, and the reason he was arresting me was because I was buzzing around like a cute little something or bumblebee or something like that, whatever. And I was like, oh, maybe he is flirting with me. So as it turns out, we kept seeing each other at meetings. And so I was going to tell my story at one of the other meetings, and he was the only one from my home group that showed up. And like, I really didn't even know him that well then, but he was the only one that showed up. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So afterwards, we were going to go out to dinner with everybody. And I was like, no, I have to go to my daughter's game, or something was happening with my granddaughter or whatever. I said, so I'm not going to go. And he said, okay, well, I'm just going to go home, So he went home. Then my daughter called. They were still at this birthday party. They weren't going to be home for a while. So I said, okay. I told everybody, okay, I'll go to dinner with you. On the way there, don't ask me why. I text him. I said, I am going to dinner now. And he turned around and he came back.
Oh,
That was November 4th, 3 years ago. And so he came back to dinner and we sat there and we talked. And the next day I was I was a member of a widows group online, and we were having a get together in Hot Springs that next day. And so I told him, I said, hey, if you want to go to this widows thing with me, you're more than welcome. No pressure, but you might enjoy it, because it's all widows and we all have that in common, if you'd like to go. So he said, yeah, I think I'd like that. So I said, okay. So next day he calls me and he says, so do you want me to pick you up? Are you okay with that? And I said, yeah, sure. No problem. You can come pick me up. And he came with flowers and he was dressed up. I was like, oh, okay. So this is more than just hanging out with me. And so that's where it all started. And there has been some challenges along the way with him being so early in the grief process. And I was already at, I don't know how many years, 13 years out, from mine. So we were at very different places in our losses. And I think he struggled some with, was this too soon? Was he dishonoring her? And I get that, I get that. But his actions were very different, So he had to think through it and he had to work through it, So he took that time and we've just been, this is the first real relationship that I've ever had that I love him for who he is, not for security, not for money, not for what he can do for me or not for, anything like that. We're just kind of on the same level. And he's the first person that I can be just honest with. There's trust there. I feel safe with him. I can tell him the things that scare me from my last relationship, that what triggers me and stuff like that. And we can talk about those things. I've never had a relationship like that. And it's just awesome. And the fact that he's in the program and we both know where service takes us and, I got to go here, you got to go there. We got to, we understand that and we're both committed. And the one thing that we've made a pact on is if either one of us drinks or breaks our sobriety, we're done. We're done. So that's what I got.
Thanks, Edie. Wow.
I got a top. There's no top in that. I might as well just mic drop it right here.
What kind of flowers did you bring?
Yeah.
Were they roses?
They were the bunches like you get at Kroger.
I can't remember that.
variety pack.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been all roses right from the jump.
Okay.
Sponsorship. He sent me the grief share. And God thank AA. The counselor went to therapy for a while. My sponsor, he says, well, go see a therapist. I was like, He said, no, do it. I said, and be honest. And I was like, I can't be honest with what I'm thinking. And he wouldn't talk to me until I agreed that I would be honest with the therapist. Dean wouldn't talk to me. Like, you son of a... So I got honest with the therapist, And, a lot of these thoughts, oh, do you got... Yeah, when I spread her ashes. Where? Oh, well, Lake Barnett. blah, blah. How are you going to do it? Well, I'm going to be kayaking, spread her ashes, drop that cinder block with a chain padlocked around my ankle and, when? So I don't know exactly when, after I spread the ash, and because I was afraid I was going to a loony bin. Hell, I'm sitting there, I wouldn't wash the sheets because it had her scent on it. All these different things. And I had to get over that. And Dean's what forced me into that stuff. See a therapist, go to grief counseling. Grief counseling didn't work for me. I went to about 4 or 5 of them, and I was like, man, some people are sicker than others. But I had AA. Anytime I needed to talk, there's somebody there to talk and work through things, And that's what my therapist said. He said, dude, I can keep taking your money, but you got a sponsor that you're very well in touch with and you got phone numbers. He said, I'll have to work you in. You're getting instant help. And those little things make you grateful you're an alcoholic, because I'm so advanced. I knew I couldn't sit in the problem, because if I sat in the problem, I'm going to throw the solution out the door and I'm going to be right back in the bottle. So, we have a foundation that helps us get through anything as long as we know we're going to go through some stuff, And at that time, I painted a pretty picture on sobriety because it was, like a first Razorback game, learning I could go to a Razorback game sober, learning I could get lost sober and not be able to find my car in Fayetteville sober, learning that all the hills are uphill no matter coming or going at Fayetteville sober, So I learned all these wonderful things, and then it's like God was punishing me. Sponsorship. Dean had been through all this. It's like, take it to God. Quit holding it in. I said, I just want to cuss him. And my first sponsor was very, you don't blaspheme God. He was kind of on the religious side. And I'm like, I can't, Dean helped me develop my own understanding with my higher power. And, in that development, I didn't have to understand my higher power. I just had to have one of my understanding. And that's where I developed a friendship with God. You could cuss your best friend out and then hug it out, and there's still that love. And that's Dean helped me get there with my higher power. Dean also, I was hesitant to open up and let Edye all the way in. I'm not going to lie about it. I was. And he had some very choice words for me and some names.
Good.
And he told me, he says, then just break everything off, because all you're doing is burning her world to the ground, your world to the ground. He says, and you're going to be miserable if you never let anybody else in. He says, you either stay single or don't get in a relation, stay single, don't get in a relationship, or you just, leave people's hearts alone. And
good words.
I know it's a difficult, I would imagine it's a very difficult place to be, but from 2 different worlds, different upbringings, and everything else. Transparency, as couples in recovery, is the transparency there? Does it come easy, or is it still difficult? Because you do your program, Paul, you do yours, Edye. How do they gel?
I stay out of hers. I don't tell her you need to call your sponsor. I don't even joke about that shit. Her program is her program. Thursday night is kind of our crossover, where it's our program. I'm in the men's meetings. That's my home group. And I'm normally at a Wednesday night men's meeting. Thursday, I go to a meeting with her. I don't always sit with her. I normally sit with the guys, but she walks up and I'll give her a smooch or something. Let her know she's loved.
What a guy.
Who's a winner, huh?
So Paul, you're hanging out with the tribe back in the day, and you already know that Edye and I have a same as Mandy. We got this protective shell. I'm looking out for Mandy. I'm looking out for Edye. And you're hanging out with the tribe. I have no idea that you guys are seeing each other, right? I don't think anybody does, because you guys are keeping it under the radar. And I started having suspicions when I saw you guys at I think it was the Reservoir Group. We did a tribe ride across the river over there. And I thought, this guy's a little close. My spidey sense started to kick in a little bit there.
Very astute. Very astute.
Yeah, that's right. So later on, we're chatting, and I got to ask because, Edye means the world to me, so I'm like, and I remember telling Shannon about this. I don't know about this guy, Paul. I used to like him. I'm not sure now. But here's the thing. You were very transparent with everything you just said to us. You said then that, you had feelings for it, you were working through it. And in my heart, I already thought you were a good guy. You were decent. You were working your program. You were immersed. I had to let go a little bit of my little protectivisms there, so I could accept that you guys were, because I don't want her to get hurt, and then seeing you guys together after you guys came out of the closet, right?
I guess I had to come out of a double closet.
Yeah, there's that. But then to see you guys go on these road trips, like when we go up to the Eureka Springs gig, right? To see you guys with your dogs and coming over and hanging out at the cabin with the tribe. You guys were, I do believe, I'm not even sure how to put this into words, but I do believe that you guys have a, path that intersects and you just seem to gel. I mean, not that you give a poop, but I don't have a problem with you guys being together. Where at one time I'm a little bit guarded. So
thanks for giving them permission, Bob.
Yeah. That's it. You have permission to be with my little sister.
Now we have Bob's permission.
Yeah. You got my permission now.
Well, I watched her from a distance, and she was pretty, so that caught my eye. But that's not what I was after, because there's, some are sicker than others, and we're in this program, and there's some sick ladies out there too, and I was getting hit on a lot, and some of them were very attractive, and that scared me off from a lot of them. I wouldn't go out to eat if there was a lady there for a little while. And then one of the Hope Group girls just come eat with us. You're safe. So I was able to start eating. I'd go out with them after a meeting, because, there's some, like y'all's original home group, I got hit on a lot, felt up, and it scared the shit out of me. Yes. And I'm like, and invites to come to their house, and I'm like, holy. Now this was really fresh, like a month. And I'm like, whew, gotta go. And so I'm distant, and I'm just watching from a distance, the service, the way she held her stuff, the things she was doing, the things she was saying. And that's the attractions that really got me attracted, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was some meat with those potatoes.
There
was beans with toast and meat and potatoes. Everybody likes a little roast with their muffins.
There was substance. It wasn't just dessert. There was substance there. It wasn't. You're not giving me some cotton candy, baby. I got a meal here. And that's yeah.
You said something that I want.
The tasty cookie.
The tasty cookie. I want to. Oh my gosh! I don't even know if I can get this out now. You said something just a second ago that I'm curious to dig into. Feeling safe. That's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. How, like, in y'all's relationship, how do you protect your safety, and do you protect hers, or do you need to?
No, if I'm uncomfortable, I'll tell her, and I think she does the same. We're pretty open about all that. And when I've said, hey, you got to back up, you stop pushing me. She's pretty good about that.
That's the transparency I was trying to get at. How easy is it to be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, this is how.
The end of the day, I have this bad thing that has been taught to me, and I still struggle with this, and this is cut, bait, and run. And the further I'm pushed, the more I want to run away. And she and I have to accept things in baby bites sometimes, even when it's for my own good, and everything is good. But until I can get this thing working right and seeing the path that I am supposed to be taking, even though I'm on this path a lot of the times and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, it still hasn't registered up here. And until this registers with my actions, it's hard for me to comprehend, if that makes any sense. I mean, I got taught to act my way into better thinking, and I'm still acting my way into better thinking.
Good advice.
as far as is the transparency easy, not always. Not always, because like I was talking about before, in my relationship with my late husband, I wasn't safe talking about things that bothered me or, being honest and stuff. So it's not just my nature is hard to, confrontation is just, whether it's for good or bad or whatever, it's hard for me to do. And so it's not always easy, but I know in my heart that it's safe. I know that I can talk to him. It's just me getting it out and how do I want to say it? And, and because I have a program, sometimes, I got to run that stuff by my sponsor, because sometimes what I'm feeling is really not an us issue. It's a me issue, So I have to be able to differentiate that. And do I even need to talk to him about this? But I think we're very transparent with each other and we both respect each other's feelings and, where we've been and where we've come from. And we're very open and honest about that too. We've talked about like everything pretty much, that got us to this point. And
She's got to fit.
Sort of, I'm sure I didn't get all of it, but that's okay. I shouldn't, I shouldn't, but yeah, I think we're, to me, that's to answer your question, Jeremy, that's the part about feeling safe is I know I can talk to him about anything. And even if it bothers him, and like y'all were talking about in your couples thing about sometimes you have to just say, I can't right now. Mm-hmm. Stop. I got to walk away and we'll talk about it later, and we can do that. Like I said, I've never had a relationship like this that I can be that honest with somebody, even with the fear that's inside of me about how he might take that and vice versa. We can talk to each other about.
That's awesome. I mean, that just validates how powerful your personal recoveries are as to where you are today to be able to gel like you do and for it to be, okay, I admit it's not that easy, but I can do this anyway. I think that's just amazing.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, both of you kind of talked about this earlier, so to put it a little more succinctly. So, we got people that come into the program. Some are sicker than others, females and males. All right, we came into the program because we're sick in the first place. Okay, I get that. So let's from your perspective to the listening audience, what are some things that we should, be cognizant of as far as relationships go when you're looking to take it to the next level? We've got this saying, right? No major relationships for a year. So I don't know what you want to address in there, but to the listening audience about relationships in recovery, maybe you could hit on that a little bit.
I think, first of all, you have to work on yourself. I have nothing to offer anybody else until I can work on myself and identify character defects, what I'm truly looking for, what's important to me, all those kinds of things. And I think it's important to get to know somebody, not to rush into anything, to get to know somebody first. And, you're never going to know. Personally, I don't think you're ever going to know 100%, if something's going to work out or not. But, like I've heard people say, you can't date until you've gone through all the steps. You can't, that kind of stuff. And that's part of what I'm saying about working on yourself. I have to get to a place of recovery for myself. I don't want to be that sick person I came in here as, offering that to somebody in a relationship.
So you say that, and I get it. So now Edye is she's a self-made individual now. She's wherever you're at in the steps. You're comfortable with yourself. You're like Shannon talks about the 3 A's, right? Being aware, accepting, and then action. So you're there. But now what happens when you run into, not you, but to the audience, hey, so I run into somebody, and now I'm in recovery. What should I be, what's a good word, guys? Help me out here. Cognizant of, cautious of, aware of.
In a relationship, looking for in a relationship.
I think to his words, cognizant of, aware of, and that kind of stuff is their behaviors. How are they carrying themselves? Are they walking the walk, or are they just talking the talk? You know, do they have something I really want? Are they saying one thing, but then they're going out and doing this, you know? Are they acting still like a drunk fool, even when they're not, you know? I mean, that kind of stuff, for me anyway, I mean, I think that's what you have to be cognizant of. Are they portraying, or are they showing you what you want to represent? What kind of relationship you want? Are they showing you that? Or are you dropping?
Your mic just quit.
How's that?
Ah, you're in. Say that again, that last part.
Okay, so I don't know where you want me to start from, but so are they portraying what you want in a relationship? You know, are they, or are you dropping your standards, or are you cutting yourself back to appease them? Because I don't want to ever do that again. I've worked hard to become who I am, and I'm not gonna let go of that to make you feel comfortable.
Wow, that well said. Well said. Yeah, because I remember when I met Shannon, she was like, you know, you're everything I've ever wanted, and I can't remember all the things that you said. You're the
Shannon,
man of my
would you like a
life. Where have you
microphone?
been my whole life? No, don't give her a microphone. Paul, your thoughts?
I have spent most of my life talking bullshit. I would lie before I could tell the truth. Even if the truth was the best thing for me and kept me out of trouble, I'd lie. So one thing that's important to me is the action. And mainly myself, very much myself, is what's coming out of my mouth. Do I back that up? If I'm going to be in a relationship, it's the actions, not what's coming. I mean, I listen to her words and everything else, but her actions back it up. You know, we both strongly believe in, if able, and there's a friend of ours speaking, we're there. Bob, I've heard your story several times. Mandy, Joel, I didn't even know Joel. I popped in the Cabot one day, said, "Here, let's go." Jeremy and Sherry, hell, I'm going to listen to him again. Like I can't get enough of that fella. What? Again, some of us are sicker than others.
Service work.
Service work.
And you know, yes. And I mean, that's one thing I do want to point out is you talked about walking, not just talking the talk. And that's one thing that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, judgment and her past actions. I have no judgment. Man, I lived in hell for so long, thought I was going to burn in hell for my actions and the things I've done. It's just off the charts. I'll share in a general, I was not a good person for a long time. I was a very sick person that had little bright spots every once in a while. I didn't know how to be good. People tried to teach me how to be good, and I couldn't comprehend it. And not like I was evil, man. There was a lot of good things, you know, but I could do some really messed up stuff. I was out there trying to put so much things into me that most of the time I didn't even know who the hell I was or where I was. So when I'm doing a fifth step with anybody or any people in my lives, I have no right to judge another human being, none, for their past. Now, what they're doing right now, I have an opinion on. And if they're in a relationship with me, I can express that opinion because I have standards today. If you're going to be my friend, a close friend, you're going to be walking the walk. Or you're not my close friend. We'll be friends. You stay over there. I have boundaries with my family. You know, I got a brother I don't know how you can be racist and married to a black lady and doesn't like gays, hates just so many people. And that's probably why I hadn't met his new wife, because he doesn't want me repeating some of the, and I wouldn't do that by any means, but I have boundaries. I have standards, you know?
It sounds like a Dave Chappelle shtick. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm telling you, I have a messed up family. So, you know, I'm pretty messed up too. But yeah, actions. All right, Sherry's got something. Oh,
yes, I do have a question, but you could have finished. So my question is, you both came into recovery on your own, not together. Now you're together, but tell me, and each of you, tell me something about her program that you just are in awe of, and you the same for Paul.
Good question.
Yeah.
her morning readings. She breaks out these books, and I give her a kiss if I'm up. Most times she does it while I'm not up. You know, she's like, dogs, throws him back in bed with me. Because, I'm not I do my morning prayers, my text messages, some quotes that are sent through there, but I do not have that dedication where I'm reading every morning like she does. I admire that.
Edye?
He supports everybody that wants to get sober, everybody that's in recovery. He is there for them. He reaches out to them. That's what I'm in awe of, because I think about all these women all the time that I'm in recovery, but I don't reach out. I don't text. He sends out a good morning text every single morning to all these people. And he's always there. You know, when they call, he's always there. And I admire that. I'm there in heart, but I'm not like that. Pick up the phone and call, or, I should call them. I should call them. That's my thing. I should call them. I should, he does, he does. And that's, I love it, how he reaches out to people.
And it's not just guys. I mean, I met a lady in the program, older lady, and I don't remember my dreams. And this morning I remembered my dreams, and I had to go do a wellness check on this lady. And I'm like, that was really weird. And then I'm going up to central office today to drop some paper off. And I was like, why did I remember that dream? So I called her. I said, hey, this is weird. I dreamed about you, and I don't ever remember my dreams. And I had to do a wellness check on you. Are you okay? Do you need anything? And she says, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. I just left central office. I was there for the hall meeting. And she says, has my daughter called you about painting her house? I said, no, not yet. She says, I got to get organized because I have some painting I want you to do here too. But really, thank you and I reminded her about winter holiday. And she said, yeah, I need to register for that. And we just had a good little conversation. And, there's nothing there. It's just, I don't know. I try to listen closer to God. And sometimes it's difficult for me to decipher, maybe this is God and maybe this is just Paul's will, but I think that was God's will. I mean, I don't remember my dreams, and I remembered that one. So.
Okay, so before we move on to the last subject here, anybody have any questions? Okay, this is a serious question before I move to the next one. Who does the cooking in your house?
We both do, actually.
Okay.
He had done most of it. He was mainly the cook for a long time. And as we've gotten busier and projects going on and stuff, whoever's available or whoever's the hungriest starts cooking.
I asked that because I know that Paul cooks. I don't cook.
He's an excellent cook.
And I know that. I'm amazed. Because when I've eaten at your house, I just assumed, stereotypical, monolithical, whatever. I thought you're the chef. And, when it was mentioned that Paul actually did the cooking, now I want to know what the ingredients are. Is this safe? All right, Paul, hurry up. I want to move into this next subject here, and I'll go ahead and get a kickoff. Have you guys ever heard of the Gottman Institute?
No.
Okay. They've got They've got a 50-year marriage and following in couples therapy, and it's called the Gottman Institute. And they've got their website is actually, I think it is it's and I'll put this in the show notes, www.gottman.com. So first thing I want to do is give a shout out to them because proprietary. I'm going to hit some of this. They've got a lot of good stuff. So this article they put out was called The 7 Outdated Relationship Myths. And each one of these is very much elaborated on, but I actually did the very short version because, for the sake of the time of the show. So I'm going to throw this out to you guys and it just, give me your insight on what you think. So there's a lot here and I'm skipping through a lot for the sake of time. But myth 1, let me see, how do I put it? How to disrupt 7 outdated relationship best practice myths. So that was the title of this. And so myth 1, compromise is the key to a healthy relationship. Full stop. They've got a lot of stuff to add there, but what is your thoughts on compromising to a healthy relationship, for a healthy relationship? What does that mean to you?
I think compromise is absolutely necessary because I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, there's a lot of things I would prefer one way or another way or, what we want to do or, just whatever comes about, household things or activities we're going to do, whatever it is. If we did everything he wanted to do and had everything his way all the time, I wouldn't be happy. And vice versa. If we did everything my way all the time and went everywhere I wanted to go, he wouldn't be happy. So there has to be, in my opinion, there has to be some compromise there, some give and take, in the relationship for us to jive, kind of like, balancing in recovery, how you have to balance your time, how you have to balance everything. You got to balance things in your relationship as well. What do you think?
Like jelly on chips.
Jelly on chips?
Actually.
She finally realized that I'm never wrong.
Yeah. All right, folks, thanks for listening to Shout Out from the Pit.
No, I am so laid back most of the time. And if there's something I need, I just voice it. Every once in a while, I got to get on the water on a kayak or I start going batshit crazy. That's where I really feel, or get into nature somewhere, camp at something. I got to do it. It's where I feel the most connected to my higher power, God. And that's where I feel a lot of spirituality. But most of the time, I am pretty laid back, easygoing. What do you think about this color? This, most time I really don't have an opinion. I like that. But if I do have an opinion, I state it. If I want to do something or no, how about this way? I'll state it. I might be wrong. We may not do it, but I'll state it. And that way she actually knows that I do pay attention because, a lot of times guys are just whatever you want, dear, whatever you want. And I'm that way a lot of times. Unless I really do have an opinion and I really am thinking something, then I just spit it out.
His favorite line is, whatever my honey wants. That's good sometimes, but not always.
So go there. Yeah, so go there. What you just said. Yeah, I'm just curious because I was going to ask that. So what does that mean?
Well, I think for him it means I don't give a shit. Whatever you want to do, I don't care. Whatever my honey wants, that's what we'll do. So, but sometimes it's very affectionate. It's, honey, whatever you want, I just want you to be happy. And, that's the connotation. But then sometimes when I do really want an opinion and I hear whatever my honey wants, it's no, not whatever my honey wants. I want your input on it. I want you to help me make this decision. And so
I have to get
it gets old sometimes, but a lot of times I love it. Whatever my honey wants. That's great.
Well, it's the truth. I mean, I am a happy person. I'm pretty happy all the dang time. I may be thinking stuff, but I've learned I can be going through some shit and little batshit crazy too, and still be happy. It's okay. I can feel more than one thing today. You know, I could be pretty sad, but I'm okay, and I still have this joy. And some days I'm just going through, and I got this joy going on, and I'm just not projecting the whatever despair or grief. You know, grief still hits me every once in a while. Dates suck, or a song, or fucking thing. You know, those wishy-washy, sentimental things, crying there in the commercial. But most of the time I'm happy. And again, it's her perspective that says I don't give a shit. I'm just happy, and it really is. If it makes you happy, I am tickled pink. Shove a feather up my ass because I am tickled.
Man, sometimes those visuals, man.
That's what I said. If I have an opinion about something or I want something, I'm just going to spit it out. If I want to go eat some tacos, I have to make tacos at home because she doesn't like Mexican cooking. So if I want to eat some tacos, I go get some hamburger meat and I cook them at the house. I mean, if I want to go fishing or kayaking, I'd let her know and we set it up. The plays and all this, I'm starting to actually enjoy some of these things. It's not originally walking into all this singing and all this dancing shit. I'm like, really? But I'm starting to enjoy it. But it's the fellowship I'm around. You can throw me into a shithole with the right people, and we're going to have a fun time.
How good have you gotten at the bend and snap?
I can say it, but that sciatica messes with me. I can't do that. What is it?
Woo-hoo! Woo! There you go. The tongue's going and everything.
Oh, y'all had to see this. We got a
You
visual.
see Dwight's
Oh, we
face.
need more snap, baby.
Dwight's like, don't do that again. Dwight's like, I've seen enough for one night.
Progress.
We'll work on it.
But he's right. It's about who you're with more than what you're doing.
You look like you were going to.
No.
And I have on the yard and stuff like that. When I have an opinion, I change it. I just go out. These rocks look great. I changed every one of them, son of a gun. Oh, that looks good. I put another row in because I didn't like the way if I have an opinion about something, I'm going to take care of it.
Okay.
And then ask for forgiveness.
Now, what I was going to say is, though, that because you had said that you are so laid back, but then if I've got, if I've got an opinion, I'm going to say it. Is that out of character for you, or is that just how you are? You come up at the blue.
I mean, I have opinions. Most of the time, nothing really phases me. But if something does, I'm going to just say it.
I think I want to play off of that for a second. So I think that goes back to what we learned early on about we're here to get sober. We're here to not cause harm to others, but we're also not supposed to be a doormat for anybody.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's what I said. If she points things out to me, I could give a shit less if it's pink, purple, blue, whatever color makes you. I paint for a living. I see thousands of colors. I never knew there was thousands of whites. There is. So don't tell me just paint it white. I don't want to walk in my bedroom and it be fluorescent pink by any means, and I'll tell her that. But, in camouflage. I don't want to walk in the camper and it be camouflage because then you won't be able to see how good looking I am. I'll be hidden, But, it's just little.
Not a myth.
Just don't go to extremes with me, and I'm pretty good. I'm just right there in the middle. I just try to stay right in the middle. They said my emotions can go really high, my depression can go really low, and I just try to stay right in the middle.
Best place.
Yes, because then when I am mad and I look at somebody, they tell me I look like I'm about to kill them, and I'm really not. That's just the past still wanting to come out and hit that sucker and join the Chokeho tribe.
Okay.
This coming from the calm.
Yeah.
This is the calm. And this is where I institute that, okay, I'm going to walk away now.
Good. That is not a compromise. It's a solution. It's a managing conflict. Very well. Very well.
We really don't argue.
No,
We really
it's okay
don't.
to have the thought. It's the action. Actions Don't grab him by the neck, Paul. Okay. There's a couple people, I used to work with one, and there's one currently.
So I just went through the rest of these 7.
Moving on.
Moving on.
We actually, through our conversations, I think we tackled these. But what I'm going to do for the audience, I'm going to put the link to the Gottman 7 Myths in the show notes. There's some good stuff in there. It does talk about managing conflict, but I don't really think we need to go down that road with you guys tonight. I think we've covered quite a bit. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys a free flow opportunity. Again, you're talking to the audience about relationships in recovery, and so what would be some things that you want to leave with the listening audience about those thoughts?
I think just kind of what I was saying before. If you're going to get into a relationship in recovery, number one, know who you are. Know who you are, know what you want, know what you have to offer to a relationship, and also know what you're looking for and what you'll accept in a relationship for yourself. And then just, don't be afraid to take a chance, because I don't know, you could bypass the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to you just because of fear. And I lived in that fear for a long, long time. And now I have a God box. And when we were going through what he was talking about, about he wasn't sure how he was feeling about it and if he wanted to, move forward or whatever, however he was putting it. And I talked with my sponsor on it, and I was quite upset. I had a very hard time with it. And I talked to my sponsor about it, and she told me something that stays with me and always will stay with me. She said, Edye, if this is meant to be, there is nothing that you can do to stop it. And if it's not meant to be, there is nothing you can do to make it happen. And that has stuck with me on more than just this relationship. It's on anything. But so I had to do that, what we've talked about before. I had to do that action, that actual action of not just saying I'm giving it up to God. I had to physically give it up to God. I had to write on a piece of paper, God, if this is what you want for me, and if not, then let me accept it and move on and, and do my thing. And I put it in the God box, and well, here we are. So, but I think just being aware of where you're at in your recovery, do you have something to offer someone? And what is that? What is that? And what do you want out of it? And do they have that to offer you? That's the advice I would give.
Do me a favor. Repeat that again. What that advice was that you got
from
your sponsor.
From my sponsor. If this is meant to be, there is nothing you can do to stop it. If it's not meant to be, there's nothing you can do to make it happen.
Awesome. And that does apply to many things.
To many things.
Many things.
Many things.
Thanks, Edye.
Well, that just covered everything right there.
Well, again, folks, thank you for. Oh,
well, I'll speak from a guy's side, and I deal with this with a lot of sponsees. You're feeling good for the first time in your life. Life has been you think life has handed you a shit show. You're the victim. You meet this girl in sober living, and all of a sudden the sun is shining, the unicorn is dancing over the rainbow, and you're shitting Skittles. And a sponsor steps in and says, whatever, just questions, and you're trying to take this away. This has happened to me several times. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to take this away. I'm just trying to keep you from killing this girl. What do you have to offer? What foundation do you have in case she's not doing good? What step are you on? I already know the answer to these questions. I said, you're just like me. You're going to go over there and kill her grass. Until you learn how to grow grass underneath where you're at, leave them, alone.
That's right.
I had nothing to give before I came into the program. Nothing long lasting. It was all shiny. I had these great, because deep down, I am a good, sweet guy. I'm just a sick bastard. And I had to get over the sickness to let the sweetness, who I think God has meant me to be, to develop into the person that God wants me to be, the man God wants me to be. And if using examples, the role models, that's why sponsorship. The guys I run around with a great group of guys. Guys I want to be like. I'm not running around with somebody who can't hold a job, who's in and out of relationships, who's sleeping with everybody over town, who's lying, stealing, cheating. If I run around with them guys, I'm going to be lying, cheating, stealing, running around town with a bunch of women, and strive. Run around with people out of your league. What greater place to run around with people that you would never, ever in a million years become friends with? I have surgeons, doctors, judges. These are people I'm running around with. I'm a painter. These guys ask me for advice. You believe that shit? You know, they describe it great when they said we're on this sinking ship. You know, thank God I'm on this sinking ship with all these great people. Not everybody's great. We're still a bunch of sick people. But if you keep coming, watch the actions, you're going to see the great people. And then you get to start flocking with them. And then your numbers grow and more people flock in with you. It's wonderful. I'm a grateful alcoholic, and I understand that today.
Good word. Thanks, Paul. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room here, and I'm going to offer folks that are here in the studio with us some closing thoughts, whatever that might be off the top of the dome. So I'm going to start with my sister Mandy here.
Woohoo! Done. When's she done?
Thanks, Bob. What a fantastic show. Learned a lot, and I can honestly say, though, I've known these people a few years now, and they do walk the walk and they do talk the talk, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of your life. I truly am, and you know, the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. My life wouldn't be like it is today, and it wouldn't be that rich. And I mean, from the inside out, that's getting to know all these people in these rooms, and truly grateful. Thank you so much, Paul and Edye, for opening up, being open, honest, and I don't know, these smiles. Look, I just love you guys both very much. Thanks.
Love you,
Thanks,
Mandy.
Mandy.
Love you too.
Joel?
Step up to the mic. Sing us some song. Tango.
No, I will not sing. No, I really, really appreciate the opportunity to have, heard Joel share tonight. One of the things that wasn't ever specifically addressed that I think we learned a lot about tonight is not only how to love, but how to accept love in recovery as well. I think that was a common theme throughout almost everything that you all shared, and I really appreciate that message. And like y'all said, I'm a very, very grateful recovering alcoholic, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thanks, Joel.
Formerly known as Amanda, she changed her name to Linda. Linda, you have some thoughts?
Hey, everybody, Linda Alcoholic.
Hey, Linda.
Linda.
So yeah, watching Edye and Paul just kind of, meeting and then maybe, and I don't know, and all that. It's just been it's been fun watching y'all just kind of learn how to communicate. That's the whole thing. Listening to each other and talking to each other, and the most important thing I think is not losing ourselves to accommodate the other. Yeah. Not still staying strong to ourselves and our own beliefs, and not killing each other. So that's what happens in my house.
That's a plus.
Oh, and the fish tank was a hard yes. The fish tank was staying. That was a hard yes. And my bed. That's where the magic happens.
In the fish tank?
Yes, they made a lot of suckers, let me tell you.
Oh, Brother Dwight.
Dwight, alcoholic.
Hey, Dwight.
Dwight.
It's been quite an adventure watching this relationship develop between Paul and Edye, and I'm so grateful to be able to be on the periphery of it and be a small part of it, as well as all you guys in the room and the tribe. And AA in general has been a tremendous benefit to me and all of us in the room. So I'm just glad to see all you guys tonight. Thank you.
You are not a small part of us, Dwight. You are a large part of us.
Yeah.
Like the old soup.
All right. Let's.
Good. I know Paul via Edye because Edye started coming to the meetings first, and she had long hair and the coolest boots I've ever seen. And then when she got off of a Harley one time, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Boom, baby.
I want to be friends with her. And so we have, our friendship has grown through that. So when Paul came into the picture, I just see a different side of you. It's almost like y'all complete each other. I don't know Paul that well, although he saved my life last week being in my house while my husband was losing it. So I can say you definitely do the actions, but I just am having so much fun with y'all. Like you generally are both happy. And y'all both have a story that is very heartfelt. You've both been through a lot, and had been kicked in the teeth a few times, and you're just happy with each other. And I know it's not easy. It will never be easy. No relationship is easy. But gosh, y'all do it very well. And I just want to go to more plays and have more fun. So I'm so thankful to have y'all both in my recovery.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sherry.
Thanks, Sherry.
Love you.
We love you.
All right. No, I'm good. So, beautiful sharing tonight. Beautiful sharing. You two, the relationship that I have watched you two build is absolutely amazing. And the foundation in which you two have built it, I think, is very strong. It doesn't mean to say that there's not rocky times and there's not things that happen. But it talks about in the book, am I building a foundation, right? And I watch you two build that foundation based on your AA spiritual program. And I think that is going to serve you both extremely well going forward. And I think that's what you've expressed here tonight as y'all have shared. Edye, you and I got to know each other really when we were in service together. You GSR, me alternate GSR, and I learned so much from you. And whenever Paul came in, that, started coming to the meetings, and I'm going to say this, he's, the back row Baptist sitting in the back eating, and, Edie's up here as the GSR, at the front of the room. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out, but, Edie's over here, doing the deal, right? Doing service. And then we got Paul in the back. But what I didn't know was the relationship that was going to blossom from you two meeting. But what I really didn't know was the level at which Paul's love for other people is. A lot of people look at Paul as a guy who sits in the back of the room, right? I see Paul as a guy who's out in the front of AA, and his love for other people and his ability to go help people when other people can't. Just this past week, Sherry just alluded to it. He came to my house and he helped me paint, and he spent the entire week there. And what I didn't know on the front side was that I couldn't have painted that room anyway, because the smell of that paint made me sick. And if it hadn't have been for Paul, my room wouldn't be painted. And that's the type of love for other people that Paul. And I see that love for you and him when we talk.
You got me crying.
Thanks, Jeremy.
And there's the balance in my program. They do, so they look at the back row. I'm eating some chips because I don't think to eat during the day when I'm working and stuff, and I'm pretty nasty, so I don't really want to sit around people stinking. And the guys, they're used to it, So when they join me, Paul paints, Paul gets stinky. Sometimes it's okay. But while I'm sitting there eating, I go to their meeting because it's, and I listen, I pay attention. I don't have to be, that's the one place. I'm very active in my men's meetings. I get called on a lot. It's hard for me to shut my brain down and keep paying attention to what people are saying and not focusing on the actual topic. So I sit in that meeting. I get to listen to people and learn. My brain's not running because I very seldom get called on. So it's not in my mind. I don't have to think of what I got to say. I don't have to stay on topic and kind of running what was the topic through my head. I just get to sit there and listen and watch. And that's the balance in my meetings. I don't have to be everything every time. I can be the back row Baptist during that meeting. And I like to pick on one guy, my friend Steve 2.0. And I tell him, that's the next level row. And maybe someday you can come join me.
Is this like a half measures hallway or something?
I've been told that back there too. It doesn't bother me. I listen to all.
All right. Any other thoughts before we move into closing? So, my observation is pretty easy because I knew both of y'all before you guys knew each other. And what I see is cool because, I think, Sherry, you said it, they kind of complete each other. I love to see people happy. That's what this program does for us, right? We're not a glum lot. We come in here pretty broke, pretty hurt, and we're trying to find ourselves and all the stuff that we hear on Shout Out from the Pit from all the great guests that come on here. But what's really refreshing is to see people that are successful in their recovery come together. And then there's that next step, what you guys do for the journeys of so many people that are in recovery. The example that you set. And like you guys talked about earlier, basically baggage and boundaries, you guys set those examples. And it's refreshing for me being a friend to both of y'all and then seeing where you're at today. It's cool, it's cool. So that's really all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Forrest. I finally ate that bowl of homemade chicken noodle soup that I made for you and Shannon when y'all was sick. And then you told me not to come over. I finally ate it. I froze it, saving it for you, and then I finally thawed it out and ate it.
We were so sick. I remember I told Dwight not to come over.
He got the soup that same night.
He got some soup.
Yeah,
Shannon and I were so sick that people were offering to bring over food. We're like, I don't think that's a good idea because we don't know what we have, right? And we needed to get well because of the forthcoming show, obviously. And so it's like, so you ate my soup. That's perfect. All right, folks, that's a wrap on today's show. What say you on today's topic? Leave your thoughts and comments on shoutoutfromthepit.com. And remember, if you want to feel good about yourself, go out and do something for someone else. And finally, as always, you're not alone. If no one's told you they love you today,
we love you.
So God bless you.
Long time.
God bless you, Paul. God bless y'all, and have an outstanding American day. This is Bob the Old Rucker. Peace out.